It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Brad and Angelina got married, everybody. Let's get that out of the way. Oh, my God, their life is almost exactly the same as mine. I can't relate to everything in this story. They got married in France.
Fairy tale romances and all that.
Right, exactly. Is it officially time to give up being Team Jen? I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I've been hanging on to that for years. All right, we've already gotten into a scuffle this morning over reclining seats or no on airplanes.
I know.
And we will have to call the very tall Travis Bono ambulance because he's like, tall people, you're not a tall man.
When I purchase an airline seat, I rent the seat for the entire length of the flight, including the features that come with it.
Right, it is your right to recline on a plane.
Yes.
So stop it on social media. There's no debate.
I'll try and be courteous.
That's why the thing is banned on flights.
Right. I'll try and be courteous. During meal service, I'll sit up so the person behind me can, eat. But if I want to take a nap, I'm going to recline a little bit.
Hold, please. I need to call Travis Bono a very tall ambulance. He's like, fat people can buy 2 seats. I can't buy. I'm saying this now. I didn't even let him in. Okay. All right.
He's going to lock us in.
Yes, he is.
He's cranky today.
I know. That's why I thought I'd poke him with a stick. However, look at that. Baby pandas, everybody. There's baby pandas in China. Look. I just thought I'd distract us with something happy since World War III is about to
start. Those look like 3 bowling balls. Those. No,
they're baby pandas. Look. Okay. I'm not usually a panda freak, but I need something to live for. And if it has to be those 3 little panda babies, that's so be it. Okay. Oh, look what else there's to live for.
Carl.
Carl Frisch. WholeFightStrategies.com. Good morning, Carl Frisch.
Good morning. The trick about reclining the seat is that the person behind you can find that extra space again by reclining their seat.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes,
Not as if the seats go back that far that you feel like, well, I'm so far back now I have to take a nap. It's like 2 minutes.
Exactly. See, you're a helper. That was a very magical, yet simple solution. Hey, look what you can do. You can do the same thing. It's like little reclining dominoes.
Right.
Look into it. Oh, my God. Somebody said that website crashed with people buying those things. And they're banned. They're banned on every airline. Right, this story,
The last thing I need to do is carry around 2 bricks in my luggage.
Actually, they're not very big. They're like really, they can fit in your pocket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right. Carl Frisch, where do we start with your... Oh, by the way, I was looking at your tweets. This just in. I'm putting you in charge of half of the country. Twitter hate speech map. Have you seen this? It pinpoints racist, homophobic hotspots across the United States. The most hateful tweeters in the United States tend to live in the eastern half of the country, according to a new map that pinpoints hate speech. There you go. See?
Wow.
Whole half the haters, your whole half of the country over there. What is happening, Carl?
Wow. I'd love to know what terms they think, but I have a feeling that it's because the South is in the eastern part of the country.
True.
Right. That's what they write. According to our analysis, a majority of hateful tweets are coming from smaller towns and more rural areas. From the Department of Sherlock. Yes. For example, some of the biggest spots for homophobic tweets are along the border of Oklahoma and Texas. One of the biggest hubs of racist tweets is in a seemingly empty area of western Indiana. Those are some not-so-fun facts.
All right.
From my Twitter hate map, Carl.
Fantastic.
All right.
I'll know where not to hang out on Twitter.
Okay.
That's how it works, right?
Sure, yeah, that's it.
You tweeted first it hired lawyers to stupidly defend anti-gay DOMA. Now it's hired expensive lawyers to sue Obama. Boner's GOP needs tort reform. What a Jim Dandy idea.
Whatever happened to practicing what you preach?
Yeah.
I mean, these are frivolous lawsuits if I ever heard of one. I mean, they knew. They must have known. They spent millions of dollars defending the Defense of Marriage Act, the indefensible, only to lose in the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And now they're suing the president, and even their own allies say they're stupid and crazy.
But these are the people we hear every other word about taxpayers this, the taxpayers that, and this is what they're spending the taxpayers' money on, right?
Right. It's just another way of passing on the hard-earned tax dollars of working men and women to their cronies and powerful institutions.
Here's another picture that made me happy. It is a picture of a voting machine from Palm Beach County in 2000, and you said, "I'm a giant political dork. Look what I got for reals." So you actually have a voting machine.
I own a Palm Beach County voting machine from 2000.
Awesome.
They were decommissioned after 2000, and it's filled with Chads.
Really?
Yes, and it's now set up in my office.
Good times.
Wow, that's actually really kind of cool.
Nostalgic, except for all the, horrible and, the deaths in Iraq and the cratered economy and all that stuff. Other than that, it's quite a little tchotchke.
A lot of people collect political buttons and stuff, and I like buttons, but I like weird political memorabilia. I also have an impeachment ticket of Bill Clinton. I like things that remind us of how crazy the Republicans are.
Exactly. You, a little Schadenfreude, you tweeted, "Hey everyone, remember when Rick Perry was indicted?" Just reliving the moments from last week, right?
Right. You know what's funny is people are like, "With this indictment, will it affect his ability to be, to become president?" Right. Yeah, because that was going to happen before the indictment.
Did you hear? This is actually, really. There's a poll showing that Mitt Romney's way up ahead, I guess, in Iowa, right?
Oh, God.
So they may actually have to, and I think he opened the door a tiny bit yesterday in a radio interview, didn't he? He said, well, I am not running, but, circumstances can change.
Oh, God.
I'm like, really?
Jiminy Crickets.
Really?
How do you respond to news like that? You have to say Jiminy Crickets.
Jiminy Crickets.
I can't imagine him running again. I don't think this country is built the way it was when, Adlai Stevenson was the nominee back-to-back in the 50s.
Right.
You are so overexposed by the time you've run. I mean, it's one thing to run, and lose a primary and then run the next time and win. The Republicans have a long tradition of only nominating people that do that. Mitt Romney, John McCain. I think George Bush was the only person in a 30 or 40 year period that defied that trend.
For a political dork like you, though, that would be kind of fun to have the only guy in history that lost in 2 landslides. That would really be something, wouldn't it?
Well, I can't imagine him winning over Republican voters by and large across the country. Also, it fails to take into consideration that there are other people who might catch fire as their own candidates. I don't think people want Mitt Romney to run.
Maybe he's spitballing,
wants him to run.
Right, Romney 2016, still unindicted. That he may be the only one unindicted. This made me happy. Look, someone sent me, it's like a bunch of mugshots of Bob McDonnell, Scott Walker, Nathan Deal, Chris Christie, and introducing Rick Perry as Glasses McCow Boots.
Have you
the
been
GOP Rat Pack coming?
Trial?
Pardon me?
The McDonnell trial out here in
it's awesome.
DC. Fascinating.
It's getting betterer and betterer.
Well, it's getting lots of coverage here because of the region, but I don't know if you know that he's living with his priest.
A named Father Ball, who was caught having gay sex in a parking lot.
In Norfolk.
Right, yes. Yeah, that's right. To try and convince the jury and the people of Virginia that he and his wife were not colluding on this stuff.
Right.
I mean, it's the stupidest, silliest defense I've ever heard.
Well, they're
not guilty because they weren't getting along.
Right. It's a flavor of bitches be crazy defenses, but it's right. But yeah, that was just the added sort of fun fact that he's living with Father Ball. Right.
Who I believe pled no contest to the charge of indecent activity in public.
Right.
That's right.
Right. He was, I love it. He was convicted for something about in a bawdy place.
Oh, God.
They actually used the word bawdy.
The charge that they brought him up, the official charge.
You can hear, like, a southern cop from Porky's arresting him for, I charge you with copulation in a bawdy environment.
All right, wait, I want to finish showing my thing. It's GOP Rat Pack coming soon to a prison near you. Look it's all a whole bunch of mugshots of Republicans. Who knows? They might all end up indicted by the time.
Yes.
Yeah, we may end up with mittens. That would be stunning to me. The American people would just, if he lost again, be like, no, we said no. And we know it's hard, Ann, but we said no.
Right. You want to talk about a way to lessen maybe political fears over dynasties? Just let the Republican Party keep nominating the same people it nominates every cycle. I mean, it used to be that you had to be a Bush or a Ford to end up on the Republican ticket, but apparently, if this is true, maybe you have to be a Romney now.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, we obviously everybody's been talking about this horrible story of this 9-year-old girl that killed the shooting instructor with an Uzi. Mm-hmm. And I read a good tweet, Nira Tandon. She said, I'm a little unclear how you have to be 16 to drive, 18 to vote, 21 to buy alcohol, but can legally handle an Uzi at the age of 9?
Yeah.
Well, it's true. I mean, I would go shooting with my dad at ranges just like that. And some even more makeshift, as early as I can remember, maybe like 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, my father was not saying, "Here, son, shoot a Uzi," but people need to know that there's a recoil on a gun when you shoot it.
Well, and you would also think that a shooting instructor, for instance, would know that.
A weapon used in 1980s movies where the American government's falling to some kind of, Chinese incursion.
It seems like we use the term gun crazy about America all the time, Carl, but doesn't it just seem like common sense has just left the building now? I mean,
Absolutely. I mean, this is another reason why the argument has been made that those guns are not necessary, that nobody needs those guns.
Yeah.
You're not going to defend your house or shoot a deer or go quail hunting with an Uzi, my friends.
Yeah, yeah. And plus, I was listening to somebody, when all these gun experts start talking about this stuff, that the gun was on fully automatic. They were saying, like, nobody even uses a gun like that on fully automatic. I mean, unless you're literally on a battlefield, right? Unless you're at war. Because, it's obviously so hard to control. I mean, it's just, the whole thing is tragic, right?
It's horrible. But, what's sad is that these types of things, I mean, if you set up your Google alerts to just find shooting accident and police abuse these days, you will be bombarded with Google alerts of accidental shootings and police abuse of everyday Americans. Sometimes even death, just like the situation of Ferguson. And that's really unfortunate. And at some point or another, we're going to have to deal with that.
Well, right. I mean, that's what we've been saying. And that would be one aspect of that, the militarization of the police. It's because we're so armed that, and it's like,
we don't
pitched battle.
It. Those machines that are in the games we play, and, we've got a room filled with an arsenal.
Yeah. Don't get the gamers started. All right, Carl.
Yeah, please.
We're hanging up on you now.
I heard from the gamers yesterday.
I'm just saying that we've become so used to it.
All right, Carl. Love you. I'll miss you next week when I'm on vacation, but I'll see you.
You all have a well-deserved vacation.
All right.
Thank you, Carl.
All right. Love you, Carl. See you in a week.
Have a good one.
All right. Bye-bye. 19 minutes after the hour. Right back.
He's auditioning for Drag Race.
Oh, although apparently we're not on Free Speech TV. There's some technical problems.
No, but you know what? If you go to StephanieMiller.com, the video is there, clear as the bell.
So people got to see that ridiculous neck movement.
Yeah.
All right. Travis, the very, very tall Travis Bone. Very tall, very rude.
How tall are you?
Very rude.
I'm 6'4".
6'4" of pure rude is here to defend himself.
Pure cranky. He's cranky ass this morning.
I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, okay?
Me neither. Okay.
He had a cat stuck in his throat or something.
My cat-like esophagus was acting up again last night.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, you are here for the debate of the century, to recline or not to recline. Should the knee defender be banned? To which Chris and I say yes. And you are rude.
Well, no, I'm just... My bigger complaint is the legroom on airplanes.
Right.
And I mean, when I buy that premium economy because that extra 4 inches makes all the difference in the world.
This is where the flight that had to be diverted and land, they were in economy plus.
Well, the problem is they put the seats too close together.
Yes, that is a problem.
It's not to lean back or not lean back. It's the airplane designer's fault for putting the seats too close together.
Well, the guy that designed it is rude. He, what's his name? Ira Goldman, who invented the knee defender.
He's just hateful.
Yes. It's a small pair of plastic clips that attach to your lowered seat back table, locking the chair in front of you in place so the passenger can't recline, to which I call foul.
Yes.
Because you were paid for your seat, too. And Carl first, very helpful, just said, hey, you know what you can do? You have the same button, and you can recline, too.
Well, somebody pointed out also that when the seats recline, it's not in the legroom area. It's up high that reclines back. So you're really not losing legroom. It's just putting that seat a little bit closer to your face.
Right, and so why are you complaining?
Right.
I'm complaining about the amount of legroom, period.
Okay. Well, then that's a completely different complaint.
But a valid one.
Most major U.S. airlines have banned the devices, which makes all those people idiots who just crashed that website buying them. Because of the publicity from this story, apparently they've been selling zillions of them, and they're still banned, as they should be.
When I purchase an airline ticket, I am renting it for the length of the flight, including all of its features.
Right.
And one of the features is that it reclines.
Right. How does it make a difference, by the way, that it's a device? You could just go like that and stop somebody with your hand, and you'd still be an ass bite either way.
Pretty much.
Some people said, if you recline, you're getting my knee and your back for the entire length of the flight. I'm like,
the person in front of me is getting my knee in their back no matter what.
How about everybody just stop being such assholes?
Exactly.
How about that?
Yeah, I'm courteous. If it's mealtime, I'll put my seat back up. But if I want to take a nap and it's not mealtime, I'm going to recline a little bit.
How do you take a nap on a plane?
Oh, I
can't upright. Yeah, I have to be
Well, I mean, the seat
horizontal.
comes to my shoulders.
Right.
So I'm... Seriously.
It sounds like you weren't made for flying.
No, I'm not.
No.
I'm not made for
You're a land mammal.
things.
Just don't go anywhere.
I'm not made for that closet you stuff me in every day.
That is a little bit. That is
Wait,
a tiny little space.
We have to tweet a picture of Travis's little closet. We've never done that.
Yeah.
It looks like It looks like in Being John Malkovich. It's like right. I don't know what it is. It's a little.
It's on floor
closet.
7.5.
It's where Harry Potter lives. Seriously.
You are too. I see. I should have had you have to be this tall for this job.
Yeah.
I should have gotten that from Disneyland.
Yeah.
You're too tall for this job.
I hear Chewie from Chelsea Handler's out of a job.
Yeah, true.
People are out of a job. Hey, here's the good news. I don't know why we're fighting over reclining space. World War III is about to start.
Woohoo!
Let's see. Oh, Julie with some fun facts. Yeah, places for World War III to start. Here's a fun idea. Let's check out some NATO member nations in precarious situations that could cause World War III to break out. Because, by the way, because Putin just pretty much invaded the Ukraine. Don't look now.
Nice.
Since if they get attacked, the 27 other members of NATO have to jump in and defend them.
Mm-hmm.
Today's World War III in the making country is Turkey.
Oh.
Hold your calls, everybody. Turkey. Mm-hmm.
That's a new one.
Which sits astride borders with Syria and Iraq, where things are kind of dicey right now. I'm sure it's nothing to worry about.
Is it wide stride like Larry Craig's?
I don't know if it's a wide stance, but... Well, enjoy, everybody.
Yeah, great.
Wow. Is there any good news except for the baby pandas?
Those things are like my happy place this morning.
The pandas?
Oh, speaking of happy places, have you seen Donatella Versace's Ice Bucket Challenge?
Who?
Donatella Versace.
No.
I stay away from the Ice Bucket Challenge.
No.
I think the oil on her skin just kind of repelled all the water.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but she had 2 hot male models dump an ice bucket on her.
Is there an end time for the Ice Bucket Challenge?
It's never going to end.
No, it's a very good cause.
She called it ASL Challenge.
Oh, dear.
Which is American Sign Language.
Well, maybe perhaps they need some help, too.
I'm sure they do.
All right.
Hope she donated.
All right. Let's go. Take a picture of your troll closet. Let's show the folks.
Yeah, tweet it out. What's your Twitter handle?
At the Real T-Bone.
Okay.
29 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. Coming up, by the way, in hour number 3, Jackie Scheckner.
Yep.
In the house, in hot pants.
Mm-hmm.
All right. 34 minutes after the hour. Although I think she's already tweeted this morning she's feeling competitive with Mei Lee.
Oh, dear.
She may do saran wrap or nude.
Okay.
Hasn't decided yet.
Huh.
All right. She's busy dressing now or undressing.
Maybe she could put on Travis's little man panties.
From the Ice Bucket Challenge?
Yeah.
All right. 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Dave in London. Wow. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Steph.
Hi.
Listen, I got to tell you, I'm listening to you online at ChicagoProgressiveTalk.com.
Hooray!
Woot.
But also, I got to tell you that people here in the UK are horrified by this knee defender story.
Yeah.
They think it's the most American thing they've ever heard of.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is. It's rude.
What people in my office told me.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you knew this. There's some airlines, non-U.S. airlines, that didn't take the Boeing seats when they got delivery of their 747. They did their own seats. For example, I just flew from Hong Kong back here to London a couple of weeks ago, and the airline, I won't say which, but it rhymes with Cathay Pacific. Their seats, when you recline, it rocks forward, almost in kind of the shape of the letter C.
Oh.
Economy. And when the person in front of me reclined their seat, my leg room doubled.
Wow.
Coolest thing ever.
Wow.
Plus, you can get ramen noodles anytime you want during the flight.
Oh, isn't that awesome? Back to college.
So, and my husband wanted me to tell you that the Steph cast was the best anniversary present he ever got.
Oh, yay!
Wow, he is a crappy gift giver. Okay. Thank you, love you. Just kidding.
Cool.
That's a magical gift. It is the best gift.
Yeah, the knee defender thing is the most American thing. It's like, I'm taking mine and you're not getting yours.
Right, it's an ugly American thing.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Uh-huh.
All right. Oh, by the way, speaking of my pathetic little life, as I mentioned yesterday, I hiked Mount Baldy, right?
Over the weekend.
Yes, 6 hours, way too much.
And you're still
really
complaining
sore.
about it.
Right. And so I've been, anyway, I think we all know, I freeze-dried my vagina by accident.
Mm-hmm.
I was spraying biofreeze on my thighs so that I could walk. And
they make a cream that does the same thing.
I didn't have that. I had the spray.
Okay.
I didn't have that. But anyway, of course, did our listeners put it to music?
Yeah.
Why, yes, of course they did. Did you hear about Stephanie's hoo-ha? What a hoot.
She's as cold as ice. She used biofreeze and now her lady been paying the price. I know. What the? Oh, don't I know? I can't feel my vagina.
Steph, listen to me.
You gotta take my advice.
Where is it?
Your tchotchke is paying the price. I know.
I can't feel it.
I've seen this before. It's happened to me many times. Trying for relief, but you leave the world behind. Now your JJ is freezing and you're losing your mind. Hold on for a few days and you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. Just don't use Tiger Balm down there.
No.
That's the mistake you don't want to make. Ever. Ever. Ever, ever, ever.
All right.
Sounds like Audra has a little bit of experience with
I
Tiger
don't know
Balm.
what Audra did up from Minneapolis. Is there Cougar Balm? Who can say? All right. What do you want to start with, ISIS or World War III? Russian tanks are rolling into the Ukraine.
Great.
Tanks, artillery, and infantry crossed from Russia into an unbreached part of eastern Ukraine in recent days, attacking Ukrainian forces, causing panic, wholesale retreat, not only in the border town, but in a wide swath of territory, in what Ukrainian and Western officials military officials are describing as a stealth invasion.
Oh, dear.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Oh, although you know who does think it's good?
Who?
Fox News host Kimberly Guilfoyle.
Oh, really?
She craves American toughness so much she wants to put Putin in charge.
She wants Putin in charge of the U.S.
Yes. Or Benjamin Netanyahu. Even just for 48 hours, just to get things done right. Trademark Fox News. Done right.
What's her definition of done right?
Well, I guess that, for instance.
I see. Like she wants some tanks to roll.
Right. Responding to co-host Greg Gutfield's commentary on how President Obama is dealing with ISIS, Guilfoyle said, "Can I just make a special request in the magic lamp?" Oh, do they have such a thing at Fox? Can we just get like Netanyahu or Putin in for 48 hours, head of the United States? I don't know. I just want somebody to get in there and get it done right so that Americans don't have to worry and wake up in the morning feel for a group that's murderous and horrific like ISIS. So you see, I guess Putin would... Okay, because terrorism just started, you remember, when the black guy got in.
Right.
And so if Putin were in for 48 hours, then ISIS would be gone or something.
Whatever.
Oh, all right.
Kimberly Guilfoyle is a ridiculous little woman.
Indeed. Okay, so the Josh Earnest, the White House press secretary, about ISIS.
I would not, at this point, set up a time frame for a presidential decision.
On airstrikes.
Right.
On ISIS in Syria.
In Syria.
Hey.
I'm guessing Senator John McCain knows what he would do better.
Of course.
By the way, did you see that there was it was like a terrifying little, John McCain did an appearance on MSNBC with Chuck Todd, and he was basically explaining to Chuck Todd how he had better host Meet the Press.
Yeah.
And it looked like Chuck Todd will probably just listen to him. Okay. So don't ask any hard questions, no follow-ups, okay.
And book John McCain every single Sunday.
Right. Thanks for the tutorial, Grampy. Senator McCain.
Could I just say that when the Secretary of Defense and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs talk about how this is a huge threat this is and the biggest we've ever seen, et cetera, and then there's nothing to follow that up because there's no strategy.
Mm-hmm. And did he go on to say what his strategy would be other than bomb everywhere all the time?
Yeah. 24/7.
Okay.
365.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. More, Grampy? There's more?
We're launching airstrikes in Iraq for reasons which are really not totally specified yet, but surveillance in Syria. How does that work? There is no strategy.
Mm-hmm. And once again, your idea would be exactly...
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Senator Mitch McConnell, I guess he knew he was on tape here.
Yeah, sounding a little ready to work with President Obama here.
Look, I think the security of the nation comes first.
What?
I believe and others believe that ISIS can hit us here at home, and that really trumps all other considerations, and I'm anxious to hear what the president has in mind, and I think he's very likely to get support.
Do you think he's trying to behave since he was caught on tape at that Koch brothers thing? He's saying all sorts of...
He kind of explained himself.
Talking about government shutdown and blah, blah, blah.
He said it wasn't anything that I haven't said in public.
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Okay, and then this was heartbreaking. I don't know if you saw this, this second hostage that was in the video with when James Foley was beheaded. Stephen Sotloff.
Yeah.
He was last seen alive at the end of this, the beheading video. And
he looked distraught.
Yeah.
And it was heartbreaking.
So this is his mother, basically begging, for him for them to please release my child. Here she is.
I ask you to please release my child. As a mother, I ask your justice to be merciful and not punish my son for matters he has no control over.
She said, I want my what every mother wants to live to see their children's children. I plead with you to grant me this. God. And in fact, Mei Lee, well-known whore and journalist.
Yes.
Friend of mine. We were hiking. I told you we had a whore hike yesterday. But we were talking about, not that it should be any worse, but the female American hostage, and she was like, it's probably already happening to her. I mean, it's just it's.
Oh yeah.
It's just heartbreaking, and you don't know what's gonna happen next with that as well. So, Okay, so how about some happy clappy news?
Okay.
Why, look here, Jeff Govan tweets, the S&P 500 has rallied 195% since March 2009, the fourth best bull market since 1928 in terms of both duration and magnitude. Hashtag impeach Obama. Yeah, you told me some other good
economic
news this morning.
Oh, Lord. The U.S. economy grew at a brisk 4.2% rate in April and June, faster than first estimated. So that's a good thing.
Hashtag impeach Obama. Exactly. Yeah. Let's get on with that lawsuit that's costing the taxpayers money, shall we?
$500 an hour that lawyer's charging.
Perfect. Okay. So speaking of Mitch McConnell, he did get caught on tape at this Koch brothers thing talking about...
And I tried to get the audio, but it really sounded like it was...
It was his lack of lips and the excess chins that was...
More like it was a crude tape recorder inside someone's shirt, and you just can't hear anything.
And also there is a lack of...
There's that.
Lips.
Too much lettuce.
Excess chins. Right. Exactly. With growing talk about another potential government shutdown, Democrats this week are launching a new website to remind Republicans about their promises to avoid a similar scenario before Washington lurched to a halt last year, because they all were on record saying we're not ever going to do this again. Right. And now because it's an election year, they're, I guess, to gin up their base, this was Allison Lundgren-Grimes talking about, Yeah.
I think Mitch McConnell got caught in his 47% Mitt Romney moment. I think it shows the extent and the lengths he will go to pander to his party, millionaires and billionaires, at the expense of hurting Kentuckians.
Yes, Eddie Koch brothers, a lot of Koch suckers in the room there.
Oh, yeah.
Hosted a secret strategy conference of right-wing millionaire and billionaire political activists. Mitch McConnell promised that if his party wins control this November, the Senate will not waste time on things like the minimum wage. He said his Senate will focus on repealing Wall Street reforms, environmental protections, and affordable health care. Doesn't that sound good? He said, we're not going to be debating all these gosh darn proposals. That's all we do in the Senate is vote on things like raising the minimum wage, he told all the billionaires in attendance. As he did last week, McConnell told the wealthy activists that a Republican majority would insert language into government spending bills that would require President Obama to repeal his administration's principal accomplishments or risk another government shutdown. That's what you're voting for. For the life of me, I can't. I get gerrymandering, I get all of that, but if we get out and vote, I just can't imagine the American people want to vote for that.
They don't.
For another government shutdown.
That's why even voting in November is so important.
That's my point.
Yes.
November. All right, 45 minutes after the hour, we roll along on the Stephanie Miller Show. Just ask me, do people stop you a lot when you're walking with the dogs?
Yes. Yes, they do.
Yes. The answer is yes. Should we do it? You do me. You play me.
Okay.
What kind of dogs are those?
The Great Pyrenees.
What kind?
They're Great Pyrenees.
What kind?
Great Pyrenees.
What is that?
It's a Great Pyrenees.
It's so big, I can just put
big.
a saddle.
Yes.
Saddle. Could ride it. A polar bear?
Yes, polar bear.
Just a polar bear.
Just like a polar bear.
Big. Hey, big. What kind?
Very big. Great Pyrenees.
Okay, there we go. That's every day of my life. My friend Trish, the first time she hiked with me, she goes, I just thought you were rude the first time. Now I understand. I'm like, oh. All right. 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number. Toll free from anywhere. Karen in Florida, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Karen.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
We had just the primary election last week in Florida.
Right.
We had the lowest voter turnout ever. The Republicans outpaced us. And I want you to go up and slap somebody at the DNC because who's ever running to get out the vote isn't doing their job. It's not rocket science. All you need to do is show people the lines in Riviera Beach, Florida last year. People waited 6-8 hours to vote in the last presidential election.
And, Karen,
remove the voting machines and put them in my district.
Yeah. I just saw another, generic poll, which I know they don't really mean much, but Democrats, again, are ahead in terms of people who people say they would rather vote for by at least a couple points. But you're right. It's all about turnout. If they're more, activated to hate the president and vote against him, then you're right. Then
also, I think a little bit of the trouble might lie with the Democratic Party. I don't see them out on the Sunday shows or anything with a united voice saying, hey, get out and vote. We need you to vote, and here is why. I see Republicans doing that. Don't see Democrats doing that.
Yeah.
There's nothing on Facebook. I mean, every day I get posts from my right-wing friends, these little blurbs and pictures. Not that it matters, not that that's going to sway an election, but I don't see anything from the Democratic Party at all.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm looking, in fact, Julie just sent me this. 2014 could so easily be a great year for Democrats and, by extension, all life on Earth. All we have to do is make a list of every left-leaning cynic, whiner, whataboutist we know and drag their asses to the polls. She's showing Rick Snyder behind in Michigan, and I just saw Scott Walker is 2 points behind in Wisconsin, behind Mary Burke, right?
I just think if we target minority communities and explain to them that they don't vote, they lose their right to vote. And if we target college campuses and say, if you don't vote, you're going to lose your access to birth control. We have Hobby Lobby. This really is simple.
Right.
Show what they could lose and energize the vote. These are the two groups that brought us.
Yeah, and Karen,
twice.
Karen, I just saw another headline that said, women think that the GOP is stuck in the past. It's like, no kidding.
Mm-hmm.
No kidding, but
But it's not on the 6 o'clock news.
Right. Yep, I hear you.
Today I saw a blurb on Good Morning America that said that people are skeptical about the economy. We grew at the fastest pace in 10 years. Where is that headline?
Yeah.
I tried. You know what? You're absolutely right. I tried to find a story online to print out for Steph because she likes printouts.
Because I'm old.
Exactly.
Right.
And I couldn't find anything. Nobody's reporting that good news about the economy. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
No, the crawl underneath said it was bad news for the economy this morning on Good Morning America. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Where's George Stephanopoulos? Really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Well, that's what I feel like. It's just the bad news sells or something, or they just, they want to make this a fight in the midterm. So rather than reporting, I mean, do you know when we have Jackie here, we'll go over, but do you know how many good news stories there's been about the Affordable Care Act? Did you see any, like a smidgen of that compared to all the horror stories about, and fear-mongering about Obamacare? I mean, absolutely not, right?
Somebody at the DNC needs to lose their job, and they need to go out and hire a couple of 25-year-olds that know how to work social media.
You're right.
Somebody in the Democratic National Committee is not doing their job and needs to be fired.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating.
I think you're right.
This is common sense. This isn't rocket science.
Yep, you're absolutely right, Karen. And the job is not for me, Chris, because as you know, I'm 1,000 years old, and I'm the only human being in America that uses the print feature.
and more websites are getting rid of the print button.
Yes.
And you're
the only person that uses it because of me.
You're absolutely livid about that. Why did the Huffington Post get rid of their print feature?
You can just picture my Jessica Tandy hands furiously. What? Why does it say print if it won't do it? Okay, so that's not for me. That's for one of the 25-year-old social media kids out there. Somebody get on it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm a big picture person. Somebody else is going to have to sweat the details. Hey, not saying the Republican Party is stuck in the past, but as I mentioned, here's a new idea. Mitt Romney.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Mitt Romney. Circumstances can change.
Oh, Lord.
He has insisted he won't be pursuing a White House run in 2016, but he did admit that circumstances can change. He told radio host Hugh Hewitt that he would run if he asked would he run if he knew he was the only viable candidate to beat Hillary Clinton. He said he wouldn't pursue a run. He thinks someone else stands a better chance of winning than I do. I'm expecting someone to be able to catch fire and get the job done, but he recognizes circumstances have changed. So, he opened the door a sliver. Maybe the whole country will get Romnesia. Thank you, Rocky Mountain Mike. I remember. Yep, new poll in Iowa. Here it is. Suggests he'd dominate the Republican field in Iowa. If he does, he has a 25-point advantage over his closest competitor, Mike Huckabee. 35% Iowa Republicans said they would go for Mitt.
Does that tell you about
Does
that tell you about the voters, or does that tell you about the field that they have to draw from?
Huckabee at 8.8%.
Wow.
Chris Christie 6.5%. Santorum, another little tiny spurt, little tiny surge, 5.9%.
From behind.
Ted Cruz and Rand Paul at 5% or so. Oh, so exciting. All right, 58 minutes after the hour, right back on the step. Oh, well, look at there. Just in time, Chris. Can't have a proper apocalypse without locusts.
What?
No kidding. Global Voices tweets photos of locusts by Twitter and Facebook users from Madagascar's capital city. There you go. The apocalypse is almost here, everybody.
We expect
it's
frogs.
Locusts.
Frogs next?
I don't know. Could the news be any better? I don't think so. All right. 1-800-STEP-1-2, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Nurse Jackie on her way in early, hopefully, because she didn't have to dress, because we told her to wear saran wrap.
Yeah. When you texted her, she said, "I'm not even dressed yet."
I said, perfect, get in here. All right, so lots to get to. You know what I think it's time for?
What?
Because I was saying that all they got is old ideas in the Republican Party.
Uh-huh.
Time for Goldwater Miller again.
All right.
My running mate joins me now, Cece Goldwater from the great state of Arizona.
God, it is negative news, isn't it, today?
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah.
I mean, I've been crying for at least an hour listening to you.
Thank you. That's my job. My job is done then.
Oh, my God, I got to up the doses of Prozac today. It's really one of those days, double dose day.
But seriously, can you believe, it really seems like the Republicans' new idea is Mitt Romney for 2016.
Oh, it's so original, but they kind of have to go through this, old war chest where they kind of, bring up the dead. It's just...
I mean, no offense. Obviously, you and I, particularly big fans of the original Goldwater Miller, but it really would be like the Republican Party in 1968 going, hey, what about Goldwater Miller? I mean,
well, it's like John B. Reagan. I mean, the fact that there's no real decent candidate on the Republican side is a bit scary, and it's scary because it having no true competition in anything makes for just an easy slam dunk, and it's not really inspiring to the country. And that sounds really strange, but you really need that competition.
And Cece, I was saying that one of the headlines today is about women think the Republican Party is stuck in the past. No kidding. But, I mean, that's going to be a big problem for them, particularly if Hillary's the candidate on the Democratic side, don't you think?
I think Republican women have always thought that the GOP is stuck in the past. In Arizona, in our state alone, a lot of the GOP's women, females, are kind of jumping ship, because they're going over and voting for a Democratic candidate, especially when it comes to statewide politics, because of the fact that there's so much stuff that the Republicans waffle on, and especially has to do with women's rights. And so that's a biggie. That's a biggie.
Speaking of Arizona, obviously this horrible. So we've talked gun issues so many times, you know, but particularly Gabby Giffords, and obviously one thing after another. But I have to say, even in a gun-crazy country, I think this has caught people's attention that a 9-year-old girl with an Uzi at an Arizona firing range obviously shot her instructor dead because of the recoil. I mean, I know when we say Newtown didn't have any effect, do you think this is going to have any effect on people's discussion of you know, sensible gun ownership in this country?
You know what? I hate to say this, but Stephanie, that's not going to do it. It's it's so pathetic what's going on, and the fact that, you know, it tends to happen a lot in Arizona, so we're really used to this. Because if you took like a gun magnet and just pointed it towards the state of Arizona, it would bring in more guns than probably the U.S. military has currently. It's just ridiculous. There are people that have major firearms like that, like an Uzi, and the thing that she was firing at 9 years old. I mean, that gun weighs it's the size of her leg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it's so pitiful, and the fact the gun owner was saying, oh well, the instructor probably didn't give her the right, you know, she's 9 years old.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. It's just, when did common sense exactly leave the building? I mean, you can imagine people reading this story around the world who already think, you know, that America has lost its mind collectively with guns. But here's the owner of Bullets and Burgers is the name of the place. Here he is. Take a listen. Sam.
We don't know what happened. I mean, our guys are trained to basically hover over people when they're shooting. And, you know, if they're shooting right-handed, we have our right hand behind them ready to push the weapon out of the way. And if they're left-handed, the same thing.
We don't know what happened. Well, as you just said, Cece, you gave a 9-year-old a friggin' Uzi.
Here's your sign. That, you know, it's for the fact that they would even do that. But the state of Arizona, I mean, we just, you know, it gets such a beating all the time because there's such a bunch of rednecks. And when you said, did common sense leave the building, I don't know. There wasn't a lot of common sense in that community of gun-toting people in Arizona. They think it's the Wild West still, and now that it's the Wild West on Uzis, you know. Yeah.
This is the Michael McLively Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence.
There might not be a law on the books, but this is one of those situations where we think common sense should probably dictate our behaviors. And it just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to give young children access, particularly to very powerful automatic weapons.
You know, Cece, earlier I was reading a tweet that it really does make you stop and think, okay, what age is it to drink? What age is it to drive? What age is it to vote? But it's okay to give a 9-year-old an Uzi. That's okay. I mean, how did that's what I mean. I don't know where you go with that, because after Newtown you thought we're going to do something, at least something.
Well, I mean, it's not. It's the multitudes of new towns that have happened, you know, in the last 10, 15 years. The point is that it's really not. There's no common sense. So when anybody says it's common sense to dictate this, there's no common sense when people have guns. They still feel that it's their right to bear arms. It's a constitutional thing.
Here's one more. I thought I love. By the way, there's a fabulous documentary that aired on HBO, Goldwater on Goldwater. I don't know if you've heard of it, but
available on Netflix.
Yes, it is on Netflix now.
But you know, it's interesting. Obviously, in the whole civil rights battle, states' rights was something that came up a lot. And as you talked about in the film, I mean, neither I think Goldwater or my dad were racist, but there was a whole debate back then, and that became a code word. Right? I mean,
right.
But now, I mean, I'm reading this today. Bobby Jindal sues Obama administration over Common Core education standards that he once supported. Because once again, they're going, oh no, it's states' rights. We should be able to do what we want. It's the big federal government trying to do this. And these are the same Common Core. When they adopt them, it literally has become like, oh, when President Obama does it, now it's bad. It's stuff that they all championed.
Well, yeah, and the bigger point is, when was being litigious being invited into the presidential office? I mean, the fact that people are going right and left about suing Obama, it's just ridiculous. I mean, he's the president of the United States. We voted him in, okay?
Yeah.
Deal done. Deal done. And if you want to make a difference, get out and vote the next time if you're really having a problem with it. You know, you can't just sit there and sue everybody that's in office because we voted them in.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then every ad you see that's that's a Republican ad, it says, you know who wrote this law? Trial lawyers.
Exactly. A bunch of trial lawyers. But the other thing that one of your callers made a point is the Democratic Party is not getting out there and really lobbying for the right kind of votes. They're like she said, they're not getting out there and getting the demographics like the Hispanic and
it's all turnout.
The black community. It's just not being done, and it's really sad. And so if you don't build it, nobody will come.
There's only one thing to do now, and that is fire up the Goldwater Miller 08 bus. Well, we couldn't afford a bus. The Mini Cooper, we should fire that up again.
I think we're hitchhiking, but I think it'll still work. I think we're on it. I think we should go for it.
Let's do it.
I think we've got a chance. Okay.
Let's get it done.
It's women against women. It's women against women.
We'll use the same airbrush photo we used last time.
Fabulous.
We can't afford a new photo shoot. All right. Love you, honey. See you next week. Oh, not next week. On vacation.
No, week after. Have a great break, guys.
All right. Thanks, honey. You too. Bye-bye.
Yay.
Sue in Rockville, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Sue.
Hey, good morning. Give me a moment if you have before a hard break. And, there's an old joke about a man who approaches a beautiful woman and says to her, I would like to sleep with you. You are the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. And she says, sir, who do you think I am? And he said, well, I happen to be exceedingly wealthy. I will pay you $1 million if you spend one night in bed with me. And she thinks and she says, okay, for $1 million. He said, well, I changed my mind. How about $20? And she said, sir, what do you think I am? He said, we've established what you are. Now we're just negotiating the price.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
That is what is happening. I disagree with your caller. I disagree with Cece, who I love. It's not that the Dems aren't out there, because I get 10, 20 emails a day. I see it all over Twitter. I post it all over Facebook. Vote blue for every group. Women, minorities. It is the whores of corporate media. The price that corporate media pays to pander to and promote the line of the billionaires. It's there. It's simply not visible unless you look for alternative sites like Progressive Media, like the Stephanie Miller Show, which is one of the few places these days you can go. Even Bill Press, and I'm not trying just to be nasty. Yesterday I tuned in early to get on free speech so I could be ready for the very first seconds of your show.
Right.
And I had the end of Bill, and who does he have on? One of his fellow White House correspondent people, and they're talking about whether Obama broke the law or not.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, seriously, Bill, he's so lazy now. He doesn't.
Well,
I don't
know about that.
I'm sorry. He's pandering to get his people on so that he doesn't have to do the actual work that you do, that you guys do every day. I'm sorry.
Sue, that's why I think it's important that we are not based inside the Beltway. Not in Washington, D.C.
We are in my basement.
We are well outside the Beltway. And so we kind of pride ourselves on talking about what people actually are talking about.
And I am here. I am in the belly of the beast.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, what I haven't watched corporate media since Bush stole an election, since an election was given to Bush, and I haven't missed anything except a lot of lies and a lot of fear.
Well, be honest. The main reason you do not miss the first few seconds of the show is because you know I'm still drunk and you never know what I'm going to blurt out at the top of the show.
I love hearing about your pain.
Thank you. Thank you. Just to make you feel better. All right. Love you, honey.
Love you too.
All right. There she goes.
Aw.
She's wildly popular, you know.
She is.
Is that why we do the show here in the basement? Okay, 17.
Well, no, that's why we're not in D.C. That's why we're 3,000 miles away from D.C.
That's right.
Yeah.
17 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show, 22 minutes after the hour. Jackie Schechner on her way in. Jackie's Healthcare Corner. Oh, speaking of healthcare, Hugo in New Jersey. You're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Hugo.
Hi, Stephanie. I've been listening to your show for a couple of weeks now.
Checking it out.
I agree with some of the things that you've been saying, but not everything. Like Obamacare doesn't help immigrants that are legally living here unless they're citizens.
Right.
And a lot of the stuff, like I believe amnesty will be unfair for people like me that came here and have paid money to be legal and stuff like that. And
right. Well, they would still be paying fines.
Right. They'd be paying fines and going through the normal channels.
Yeah. So I feel like it's not fair for everybody else. Like,
right. So we just disproved
your point. I feel like if it was, well, it's beyond that. Married to a citizen, and even though people think once you marry to a citizen, you become citizen.
Not necessarily.
I never did that, and I'm not even looking for that. But the thing I wanted to mention, too, I feel like if everybody was citizen, a lot of the social services that only citizens can get, there's 12 million people that will be helped by the amnesty, will be able to take those services to. So it will be the same amount of services.
Well, they pay into them.
You got to become a citizen, so you don't want anyone else to be able to now.
No, it's not that. I just think it will be because I feel like even though I'm not a citizen, I feel American in a way.
Wait, you're not a citizen?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not.
But you're here legally.
Yeah. My son is, he's autistic, and a lot of the services that I try to get for him, like with the Obamacare last year, I was paying $250 just for his insurance because Obamacare would not help me in my situation.
Okay, Obamacare is not a thing.
Right.
I know.
You can purchase, and all of these new citizens.
We'll let Jackie explain it. Obamacare is not a thing that you can buy or not buy.
And all of these citizens, all these people that are here undocumented, if they become documented and are here legally, they will then pay into the system and be able to take services from the system, like everybody else in America.
Right. By the way, that was another one of the Obamacare good news stories we'll talk to Jackie about, but emergency room visits way down, which is what's the major thing that was breaking the system.
Yep.
All right. Rick in Minnesota, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Rick. Hello, Rick. Going once, going twice. Mike in West Virginia, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mama.
Hello.
Good morning, Chris.
Hello,
everyone, and thank you guys so much I now have the iHeartRadio app, so now I can listen while I'm wandering around in this wonderful red state and laughing at all the pickup trucks, waving and smiling and laughing because I'm cracking up because Steph is talking about freezing certain parts of the body, which will not be mentioned.
I have a present. Yes.
However, on the issue of guns, we have to also constructively think about when we talk about the militarization of the police department, let's talk about a lot of the cops that aren't trained, that are using these weapons.
Yeah.
Really, it's kind of like a guy getting.
They're like 9-year-olds with Uzis.
Yeah.
Yes. It's very much like a man knowing that he can put that bicycle together Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And then winding up with 4 or 5 bolts and going, oh my God, what the hell did I just do?
Yeah.
It's very that part of it. We need to have some money for paid police community training.
Well, that's the reason why they're not trained like military, because they're not supposed to be the military. They're supposed to be protecting and serving.
Exactly. They're actually supposed to speak to people, not bark commands at them.
Yeah. By the way, somebody called yesterday. It's all these whataboutism. What about the black-on-black gang violence in Chicago?
I heard the gentleman who was talking about the institution, race-baiting institution. And gosh, Steph, you and I know how much power all the minorities have in this country. It's amazing.
Yes.
It's more about power and less about race.
And I think someone retweeted, I think it was John Stewart, that said first about, police officers are supposed to be held to a higher standard than gang members, to try to go, this is exactly like that.
That's a false equivalency if I ever heard one. And I just wanted to mention, too, Sue in Rockville, you are a rock star.
Yes,
thank you.
Indeed she is. All right, thank you. All right, let's go to John in L.A. You're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, John.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey, I think with this, I listen to.
I love the description of your call. You want to compare my love of wine to guns?
Yeah, sort of. Well, I think that everybody who owns guns, people are very negative towards people who own guns and their vernacular they use and jokes.
I'm not negative toward people that own guns.
Just the way.
I'm negative toward irresponsible people that own guns and give Uzis to their 9-year-olds.
Well, I know, but isn't that? But my point is, people who drink a lot of alcohol, who have a lot of alcohol available, who have bars in their houses, who have wine collections, 1,000 bottles of wines. I think.
Wow, Judgy McJudgerson.
Equally destructive.
Wine is not made to kill people, sir. Guns are made to kill people.
But no, guns are made to shoot.
They're made to kill people.
If I got drunk every night and went out and ran over packs of Cub Scouts, then you would have a point. But I do not do that. I just weep silently.
A pack of Cub Scouts. Wouldn't that be equally as wrong?
Wine is not made to kill people.
Alcohol in general. But people, alcohol is introduced into your life so early in your life, and it's used. And
I'm not judging. I don't judge people that own guns. I judge people that own guns irresponsibly, that leave them unlocked around children.
Judge people. How about the people who use alcohol irresponsibly?
But okay.
Yes, we judge people who use alcohol irresponsibly. Absolutely.
But they're not. But they're not publicized. People who let us.
What do you mean they're not publicized?
I'm telling
Mad make sure
you go to jail if you hurt somebody when you've been drinking.
DWIs in Hollywood, people who get DWIs in Hollywood are not scored. They're celebrated.
You also have to be 21 to drink alcohol. You don't have to be any age to use a gun.
But look at what Miley.
Oh, for God's sake.
Miley Cyrus.
Thank God it's not a crime to drink wine and weep silently about
your life choices.
All your life choices. Or I'd be in prison. Right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 34 minutes after the hour. 1-800-STEP-12, the phone number. Toll free from anywhere. All right, ISIS beheadings, Ebola. Oh, locusts. There are locusts in Madagascar. Yep. 9-year-olds with Uzis. But, oh, dear God. Rosé is running dangerously low in the Hamptons. Dear God, we thought we had a wine tragedy out here in Napa.
People still drink rosé? I thought that was like a 70s thing, like Riuniti on ice.
No, a pale rosé from Provence.
All right.
I'm just trying to tweak that guy that said love of wine is more dangerous than
Whatever.
I don't know, 9-year-olds with Uzis. Something.
And thanks for playing Really Bad Analogy.
Right. Yes. Oh, dear God. Can I have some Masterpiece Theater music? Good luck finding your favorite bottle of rosé in the Hamptons this weekend. Good God. I wonder if that same CNN anchor is going to talk about what tragedy this is. She actually used the word tragedy about the wine.
Heartbreaking. She used the word
heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking. It is tragic. One representative said we're getting very low. It's hard to say how much longer we'll have it. In 2012, rosé was running so low by Labor Day, some stores limited customers to 4 bottles apiece.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
The humanity, right? Man's inhumanity to man. Okay.
Do you drink rosé?
Yeah, sometimes.
Do you really?
I drink anything that's in front of me.
I think that is such a, girly, beginner's wine. I don't know why.
Beer packaging has just gotten a lot bigger in Texas. A small brewery launching a 99-pack of its Peacemaker Ale. We made it at first as a joke at the brewery, but it seems a lot of people are taking it seriously. Huh. It's literally 99 cans of beer on the 99.
How do you pick that up?
It's like a forklift kind of thing.
Oh, what is the malt liquor? What gets you drunk or bigger? What comes in bottles or in cans? Beer. Can't get enough of it. Beer. How we really love it. Beer. Makes me think I'm a man. Beer. I could kiss and hug it. Beer. I'd rather chug it. Beer. Got the belly of the beer. Beer. I could not refuse it. Beer. I could really use a beer. Beer.
Okay. Let's go to Rick in Minnesota. You're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Rick.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm in St. Louis Park here.
Mm-hmm.
And my understanding is the NRA used to be a reasonable organization. Why don't we use social media to get everybody to join it and change it back?
Yeah, to a actual responsible gun owner organization. By the way, have they had anything to say about the 9-year-old with the Uzi? Anything? Where's that awful Wayne LaPierre?
Yeah.
Joe in New York, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Joe.
Good morning, Steph. Good
Hello.
morning, Chris.
Hello.
2 quick points. You know, the gun apologists love to draw analogies to things that are much more regulated than the gun. Alcohol is regulated. You can't buy it till you're 21. The people who sell it have to have licenses. You can't sell it at a show. You can't sell it to just anybody. So when he makes that analogy, he's kind of, no pun intended, but shooting himself in the foot.
Hey.
Yes. The second thing is they love to talk about things like that, and then they actually show their true colors, because what they really are saying is that they love their guns. Not that it's a right, but they love it, and they really have a little bit of a craving for it, which is fine, but they'll never admit that. They just want to point to their Second Amendment, and they don't care about anybody else's amendment but their own Second Amendment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. It seems to have superseded all the other ones. Let's go to Matt in Chicago. Hey, Matt, welcome.
Hey, guys, first-time caller here. Thanks for having me on.
All right.
I just wanted to bring up something about the gentleman who called comparing guns to wine. Someone had said that guns are made to kill people. That is entirely incorrect. I have numerous guns, and mine have never killed anyone. So are my guns defective, or are you just wrong?
Why do you have them?
Numerous reasons. One, investment. They're a great investment. Some guns go up in value quite a bit.
Why are they manufactured?
Guns.
Why are they manufactured?
They're manufactured to fire a projectile.
Exactly.
You know,
And what does a projectile do when it's fired?
It travels at a high rate of speed until it impacts something.
Impacts a person or an animal or...
No.
Yes.
Okay, what is a knife used for? It's made to cut.
Yes, it's made to cut. It's made to cut food. It's made to cut meat. It's made to cut all kinds of things, not just a person.
And guns aren't made to just kill people. There's hunting.
They're made to kill animals.
They're made to kill something.
They're made to kill. That's its only function.
My guns have never killed anything. My guns have never killed a human or an animal. So are my guns defective?
I know. I know you think that's a really clever line.
Intended to be?
I know you think you're being clever, but you're no.
All right.
No. Guns are made
He
for
just
one
wanted to make
purpose.
sure everybody heard that because he thought that was his zinger.
That was his zinger.
Yes, your guns are defective. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, guns are made for one reason and one reason
investment?
only: to kill.
What percentage of gun owners do you think have guns as an investment?
That's a crock of crap.
Okay. All right. Call back though and try the line again because it might be funnier. Okay. Let's go to.
Ooh, he got me.
Ooh, ouch! If he cuts you, do you not bleed? See, knives are made for other things.
Yeah.
Like cutting mooses. Hello, Bill in San Diego.
Hey, Steph.
Hi.
Great to be on your show.
Thank you.
Big fan.
Thank you.
I just wanted to put a little historical perspective. You had mentioned how ridiculous it would be in '68 if the Republicans had nominated your father and Barry Goldwater again. But you got to remember who they did nominate: Richard Nixon, who was a loser in '60, and then it had come out to California and went running for governor. So don't put it beyond them to put Romney in there again. It seems like historically that's something they could easily.
Yeah, it's their new idea.
To do. Yeah.
It's their new idea. I just hope he captures the same momentum.
That's blinding, white-hot heat.
We all remember.
Oof.
Hey, oof. Ben in Florida. Hello, Ben. Welcome.
Yeah, my biggest thing, I've been thinking this for a while, and your conversation earlier sparked me to ask this question is, why is it that as progressives, there is a love affair with people like Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama when they're actual progressives like Jill Stein and Cynthia McKinney?
Oh, so you're in charge of who's a true progressive.
Yeah, I think you just answered your question right there because nobody has heard of those other two people.
Oh, Cynthia McKinney was charged with something. I can't remember. Wasn't she?
Let's take Jill Stein, for example. I mean, you have somebody who is anti-war.
Who made you in charge of what a progressive is?
Well, I'm not in charge of it. I'm asking the question. So you're saying that Barack Obama is a progressive?
Yes.
Yes.
And so is
people are on different ends of the scale, like in every political party.
They believe in progressive principles like bombing children in Iraq and drone striking people in southern Yemen and Somalia, and that's an okay progressive principle.
Well, pure isolationism is not. I believe that pure isolationism is not a good thing for America.
So murdering 4 U.S. citizens without due process is also another new progressive principle.
What do you mean?
Okay, so Abdul Rahman Al-Akawi was a 16-year-old Colorado-born child.
Right.
Who denounced his American citizenship.
No. That's Anwar Al-Akawi. That's his father.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. Here we go again with...
What about?
Okay. Apparently there's only certain people that are on his ballot form.
I do not want to live in a country where we have a pure isolationist government because that's an invitation for us to get attacked on our shores. Sorry. And I'm a progressive.
I think what's more important, we need to clarify about Klingenschmidt.
Dingleberry?
Pardon? No, that was his original name.
Okay.
He changed it to Gordon Klingenschmidt.
Gotcha. All right.
Adam in Champaign, Illinois writes, he's the Tea Party guy, remember, that said the homo gays like Jared Police are... I can't remember exactly how.
They're going to behead Christians just like ISIS.
Right, because he's gay.
Yeah.
I think you understand what he meant. He was also removed from duty. He was in the Army, and someone asked why was he involuntarily discharged. Gordon Klingenschmidt was removed from duty because he ignored orders to cease wearing his uniform to partisan political events and using his rank to promote a partisan agenda.
Gotcha. Okay.
Thank you, Adam.
Some in the military think that's a little distasteful.
Yes. All right. Dave in Chicago, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Stephanie. I'm excited to be on your show because I listen to you guys every morning.
Yay.
Me too.
And I am a responsible gun owner who is so tired of the moron gun owners who call your show going, oh, it's not made to kill, it's made to shoot. No, it's made to kill. That was the whole point the gun was made back in like the 1600s or whatever. It shoots a little round bullet that kills things. It was made to kill animals. Now we make it to kill people. I find it ridiculous that somebody, even a gun store, would allow a 9-year-old to shoot anything.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. And I'm a responsible gun owner. I have several rifles, a couple shotguns, a couple pistols. The first time I ever took either one of my kids, I have a 3-year-old daughter, and I have a 14-year-old son. He'll be 15 this winter. First time he went shooting, he was 13 years old. First thing he shot, pellet gun. That's a responsible gun owner, okay?
Yeah.
I think we need more gun laws. I think we need more gun restrictions, and you don't hear that from a person like me who owns an AR-15.
Wine has many laws and restrictions on it.
There should be even more, Chris.
Yep.
There should be even more.
What? Wait a minute.
There's no reason why I need a magazine with 100 rounds. I
Yeah.
need an AR-15
Well,
because
and I love that the gun nut's always calling, you don't understand, stupid non-gun over liberal. I'm like, really? There's no common sense that you shouldn't give a 9-year-old girl an Uzi? Okay.
Exactly. It has nothing to do with liberalism or anything.
Right.
Common sense, man.
I'm a liberal, and I've shot guns.
Yeah, there you go. And yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to compare that to drinking wine. I mean, come on, man. How stupid is that?
Yeah, that was insane.
Exactly. In fact, that's why I'm a responsible wine drinker, because I don't own a gun. Because you know what would happen.
I know what would happen. You're very responsible for not owning a gun.
I'm too spazzy.
Yeah.
Even sober. Okay, 45 minutes
Your
after.
neighbors thank you, too. So you'll sit out on the roof with a shotgun.
You're welcome. 45 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 50 minutes after the hour. Heavens, lots of people have thoughts about the guy that called in and said, my love of wine is worse than owning a lot of guns, something. What did he say exactly?
Your love of wine is exactly like his love of guns.
Right, it's okay. Matthew writes, really? Let's compare. Alcohol is a highly regulated industry and taxed. It's against the law in most communities to have an open container in public. You must be 21 to use alcohol. Alcohol-related deaths are kept in extensive records and studies. Gun deaths are not by law. We publicly list DUIs. People who serve alcohol can be sued and prosecuted, unlike gun makers and stores. Drinking alcohol is recommended, does not hurt others. Using a gun as directed does. We have legal limits on consumption. Eric, please, bad comparison, move on. And they drank wine in the Bible. They did not use guns in the Bible. Oh, he played the Bible card.
Blam! Got served some bitch pudding.
I think that guy's going to have to face it. Right?
You don't think, don't read the polls. The gun that wing has got control. You're owned by the NRA. They tell you what you can say. Whoa, you like to think that you don't answer to us. Oh yeah. Closer to the truth, you know you're just a big putt, and now you're gonna have to face it. You're a kid with guns. Might as well face it. You're a kid with guns. Might as well face it. You're a kid with guns. Might as well face it. You're a kid with guns. Might as well face it. You're a kid with guns.
All right, you were afraid that wasn't bleeped. I saw you there.
Yeah,
okay.
I was afraid. But
all right.
Yay, Rocky Mountain Mike. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Juan in North Carolina. You're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hello, Juan.
Hi, Stephanie. Yeah,
Hi.
Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it. I love your show.
Thank you.
So much. I just have a question, and I haven't heard anyone talking about it or reading all the articles. As outside the legal sphere, this little girl would not face charges for killing this man. I mean, is this like something that she just gets scot-free for doing this?
You know what? She's kind of scarred for life, though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, this clearly was accidental.
Right, and she wasn't responsible for putting the gun in her hand.
No, I understand it was an accident, but I mean, like, is that what happened? I mean, that was just my question. So in your view, there will be no procedures to, like, put her in prison?
No. I don't think there should be charges against her.
Yeah, well, but that's why this last email raises a good point, and that I was reading in that earlier tweet is why is that there is no age? Alcohol, obviously, there's an age, and for voting, for driving.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that seems to be the thing. Why there's no age limit on.
This is a safety issue. The kickback on a gun like that is incredibly strong.
On a regular gun,
strong enough to blow a 9-year-old girl to the back of the room.
Yeah. Myrnie in Michigan, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hey, Myrnie.
Hi. Good morning, Steph. Hi, Chris.
Hello.
The comment that I heard yesterday that the NRA gave out about that was because the guy that was instructing her was not a NRA certified instructor, they could kind of wash their hands of it.
Right.
There was another guy that worked with the gentleman that passed away that said they have to start training kids when they're like 8 and 9 years old. Otherwise, they never grow up to respect guns or have any value to, and it's like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was just crazy.
Wow. That is pretty awful.
That it was okay for 7, 8, 9-year-olds to, be learning how to shoot guns. And it's like their brain isn't even fully developed.
Yes. Yeah. So, what kind of parents won't give kids the opportunity to injure or kill themselves with a gun?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a different incident every day with the kids killing either themselves or a playmate or somebody else in the family. Lloyd in Illinois, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Lloyd.
Hey, Mom, how you doing?
Good. Go ahead.
Hey, I want to tell you, every police academy that I went to in my job, there would be hours of instructions before the range master would even let you touch your weapon. And when I watched that video, he was just very lax in the methods in which he was talking to that child. And I do agree. There's certain age, there should be an age limit when it's out in public. If you're in your backyard with, that you own and you want your child to shoot, fine. But where there is other people around, there should be some regulations on the age limit.
Well, I think there should be regulation, period. I agree with you. It would be hard to enforce, obviously, in somebody's, home. But I still think this is just, again, like, as I said earlier, common sense has left the building. Oh, speaking of common sense having left the building a long time ago.
Yes.
Pat Robertson, I love that. We played a clip. It was too depressing to even play. Something, because you knew he'd have thoughts on why Robin Williams killed himself and something, the heathens, blah, blah, blah.
He knows why.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But he also said prosecuting Bob McDonnell for corruption is destroying this nation. That's what's really affecting most people's lives. Bob McDonnell, who's currently living with Father Ball.
Yeah.
Just to bring you up to date, who was the priest that was busted for the
homosexual sex act in a
car
parking lot,
with a bawdy place, something. Okay.
According to Virginia law, it was a bawdy place.
Yeah, it was a bawdy. Okay. Brian in Michigan, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hello, Brian.
Hey, good morning, Steph.
Good morning.
Hi.
Let me preface this by saying, has irresponsible use of alcohol caused the death of people? Yes.
Yes.
Has anybody ever walked in with a bottle of wine into an elementary school and killed 20 kids? No. Have they ever walked into a six-pack in the theater and killed a lot of people? No.
Nope.
Okay. So analogy.
A drunk teacher did walk into a classroom pantless and start teaching, but nobody was killed.
Well, that's a whole different kind of.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. That's my.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good point. Smartest point class. Okay. Paul in Seattle, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Paul.
I have several bottles of wine in my basement that have not yet been consumed and have never got anyone drunk. Are they defective?
Bam! Nothing but comedy in that, Paul.
That was very good, Paul.
That was Paul. You get a gold star from Mama.
Drink them.
Yes.
All right. They are defective. In my opinion, full bottles are defective. Let's get going, people. Let's get to work. Nikki, real quick, in Illinois. Hey, Nikki.
Hey, the NRA did send out a tweet 2 days after the shooting.
Mm-hmm.
It was an article on 7 ways children can have fun at the shooting range.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great.
So it wasn't necessarily a response, but that did come right after that shooting.
Oh, terrific. Oh, they're such helpers. All right. 58 minutes after the hour. Jackie Scheckner next on The Stephanie Miller Show. 6 minutes after the hour. Time to feel good. We finally got that picture we've been asking for since the beginning of the show on current television. Jackie Scheckner as a, what's a baton twirler?
A majorette.
Majorette. Yes.
It's Scheckner again. Batons she'll be twirling.
20.
Yes, it's on the Twitter machine this morning.
Yeah, that is spectacular.
Thank you.
How old were you in that picture?
I was 13.
Uh-huh.
If I'm not mistaken, that was my bat mitzvah photo.
Oh.
That was the photo people saw when they came in and then they signed the book. It was either that, there was one where I was doing a full split, but I think that was the signed one.
Oh, and creepily enough, as Chris pointed out, there's a design on your leotard that appears to be pointing down to your
I'm
girl
not
parts.
entirely sure why that was placed where it was, considering my mother made my costumes.
Right.
But I was telling the story in the break before that I was very particular about the use of accoutrements on my outfit. That they had to be rhinestones, not sequins, because rhinestones were classier. My mother had to bedazzle the heck out of those things.
Oh, God.
Every costume
Let's
was
just stipulate
different.
this was in Florida.
Yeah, every costume was different. They were all different colors and style. I was very particular about
Wow.
that.
And can I just say the most spectacular use of a jazz hand and spirit fingers I've ever seen. Check out the top hand.
But the look on your face couldn't be more disinterested.
Yeah, and that was sultry model look.
Was that what that was?
Yeah, that was sultry.
I think I had the scrunchy socks going. With the white kids.
If you wanted to look like a professional model, you had to look pissed and hungry.
Yeah, that's kind of how I looked.
Right. See, like that look right
I was
there.
skinny then. Maybe I was hungry.
You're skinny now.
No, I was gawky skinny back then. The hair was pretty awesome though. You have to go with the 80s
Yeah,
hair.
the 80s hair is. You were
the
rocking
separated
it, rocking
bangs
that
with the 80s hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump. You jumped right into the seat defender fray on airlines.
Oh, yes.
Nathan, our secondary tall guy on the show, 6'4", our videographer, it was like a human-like suggestion. He said, because he is very tall, he just asked the person nicely like a human in front of him to just be aware because he's very tall in terms of reclining or not.
Yeah, and if someone were to ask me, absolutely, I'd beware.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that small, but I'm like 5'5" on a good day. And my thing is people behind me who are unaware, more often than not, who are unaware of the fact that their seat back is attached to an actual seat, and there's a human in that seat. So I get lots of kicking and pushing, and so I often have to turn around and say, I'm sorry, there's somebody here.
Hello, I am here.
And I was saying that my favorite is when people stand up, they actually use the back of your seat to brace themselves.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're automatically kind of pushed back when they decide to stand up and sit back down. That's my favorite.
Flying is hell. Sheer hell.
Oh, and then there's the time I got hit on the head.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
That's a good one. Remember the old...
Actually, a gushing head injury story.
Yeah, which explains a lot. Do you remember the old metal luggage carts?
Oh, yeah.
Before you had the wheeling bag?
Yep.
So somebody had put one of those in the overhead bin.
Oh, dear.
We were on the plane. We hadn't even moved from the gate, so the plane hadn't even moved yet, and it was just put in so poorly that an older gentleman behind me stood up to open the overhead bin, and that metal cart fell out of the overhead bin and cracked me on the head.
Oh, boy.
And I remember that moment. I put my hand to my head, and you're kind of in shock, and then there was a whole lot of blood.
Oh,
and I started to cry, and they took me off the plane, and the paramedics came. It turns out a head wound actually bleeds a lot more than would indicate how serious the injury
Right,
is.
because there are a lot of little...
Yeah, so it was 3 little cuts, and I turned out I had a headache for a couple of weeks, and it turned out to be all right. But there were a bunch of people from college on that plane because we were all flying back at the same time to school. So
Did you miss the flight?
Yeah, I had to fly back a couple days later. And the rumor was, like, everyone's like, oh, my God, did you see what happened to Jackie? And because half the people were asleep in the back.
Remember that time Jackie slowed down our flight with that stupid gushing head injury?
Yeah.
Remember when we missed the frat party because Jackie had to go get her head in the way of a metal cart?
But my father called the airline. He's an attorney, and he called the airline and said, here's what's going to happen to avoid a lawsuit. Then I ended up flying back a couple days later, first class. My boyfriend at the time came with me. There were a lot of accommodations made to make the next flight as pleasant as humanly possible. And now it's illegal to put those sorts of things in the overhead
because
bin.
Thank you, Jackie Schechner, America. Say it with me. Thank you, Jackie.
You are more than welcome.
Thank you for our complete absence of a head injury.
Yes, I sacrificed my head for all of you.
Thank you. We've all had our traveling horror story. I try to be, I don't do yoga, as you know, but I try to be, because I'm not tiny, but I try to be very yoga-esque and stealthy. If I'm trying to get past someone to go to the bathroom, I try to. You know, it's like part ninja, part yoga. I can.
Doing your Mission Impossible thing, trying to get in between all the lasers.
Right. Yeah. Right. To get out without disturbing them.
Yeah.
Just saying. Basic politeness, and then there are people that are just rude.
Yeah. No, they just barrel on through.
Okay, so we were also, obviously, you were listening on the way in about this ridiculous 9-year-old with an Uzi.
I had no shortage.
And bullets, and you tweeted yesterday.
What did I tweet?
Nothing goes well.
Nothing goes better with
a greasy trigger finger than an
Uzi.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
good idea.
Thanks.
Good idea all around.
I'm like beside myself with this story. I can't. Yesterday I was watching MSNBC and Chris Hayes had on a gun range owner from Arizona. And this must have slipped by because I cannot imagine there wasn't a follow-up question. The gun range owner was saying that shooting a Uzi was on the 9-year-old's bucket list. It was a very high up on her bucket list, and that her parents were allowing her to do. I thought, what 9-year-old has a bucket list?
Right.
Do you understand the concept of a bucket list?
Right.
It's things you're supposed to want to do before you kick the bucket.
Right.
And are we that indulgent of our 9-year-olds that when they decide that they want to shoot an automatic weapon, that we say, okay, let's go ahead and do it? I mean, I would imagine this was not, she's a 9-year-old girl. You think, hey, I want to go on vacation and shoot an Uzi was on her list of things she wants to do so badly that they had to let this happen. It was a silly, ridiculous thing to say, and it was indicative of how ignorant some people can be because it's not what a bucket list is, and there's certainly not a 9-year-old out there with a bucket list. So let's try to, let's not try to pretend that this kid was clamoring for a gun. I don't believe it. Sorry.
Yeah, and is it like you say? What I mean is an outgrowth of that form of bad parenting that just never that they never say no. I mean.
Yeah. And I've shot machine guns. I went to an old boyfriend of mine was doing a documentary on the Hira Maxim machine gun shoot in Dover, Foxcroft, Maine. And I went with him. They go every year. And I went with him, and I got to shoot these things. First of all, it's frightening. There's a lot of power, and you need some serious supervision, and there's a lot of recoil, and it's a lot of strength. I can't even imagine what it would be like to put one of those in the hands of a child.
I shot just a normal gun. I don't even know what kind it is. I thought, as a grown woman, the kickback was tremendous and terrifying for me anyway. I mean,
and
you're spazzy, too.
Yes. There's always accidents. I mean, they don't like to talk about it, but somebody's gun malfunctioned, and he got nailed in the leg and had to get some medical attention. I mean, we used to joke when I was a sports reporter in Hagerstown that the morning of the opening of hunting season, the story would be about the opening of hunting season, and then the lead story that afternoon would be the first person that got shot during hunting season. Because it always happens. There's always some sort of mistake. I mean, guns are not foolproof, and neither are people.
Every issue in the news, Jackie Schechner has some fascinating story.
Yeah.
I know,
She's been hit in the head by a metal luggage cart. She was a sports reporter in where?
Hagerstown, Maryland. You didn't know this?
Hagerstown has a TV station?
An NBC affiliate in Hagerstown, Maryland.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where I started. I was a one-man band. You didn't know this?
I did not know this.
Oh, I was a one-man band sports reporter. I used to carry the camera. I would go out and shoot the sporting events, come back, edit it myself. And when I went on set to do the highlights, I worked the teleprompter with my foot.
I think my sister did that. She did local TV news. Yeah.
There's some video of that out somewhere. I'll throw back Thursday that one of these days.
You better.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And I thought you had to have like anchor hair, and I wear a suit, and my suit was way too big, and it was bad.
Wow. I'm even way older than you. When I started in radio, the music was on reel to reel.
Yeah.
And I had to change the reels. And if you didn't do it in time, you'd get dead air, which was the worst thing ever in radio. And you just see the things going. Speaking of journalism, Jackie, keep in mind that you can't actually say job on the air.
You can?
No, you cannot.
Oh.
That's why
you
I said.
did.
I did.
Yes, you
did.
did.
Awesome. Can I do it again?
No.
It rhymes with snow gob.
The Gawker headline is, did Katie Couric accuse Diane Sawyer of handing out BJ's like candy?
This is awesome.
There's a dishy new tell-all called The News Sorority. And when, here it is, when Diane beat Katie on an interview with a 57-year-old woman who'd given birth to twins, Katie mused aloud, according to a person who heard the comment, I wonder who she this time to get it. Well, wait now. That would imply that she has quite a few people to get quite a few stories.
You know, what bothers me about this book, I mean, it's salacious and I probably would read it because it's gossipy.
Salacious.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's salacious.
But would they ever write this kind of book about men?
Absolutely.
No.
The Late Shift. The fight between Leno and Letterman. It was just as gossipy as this was.
Really?
Absolutely.
Like, who did he give a snow gob to?
I don't think he actually gave a snow gob to anybody, but there was some really catty things that went on.
Okay, fair enough.
So, yes.
Fair enough. Sorry. I like that word. That's my new word.
And I'm just saying,
I'm trademarking
was
that.
Diane drinking from the giant goblet of wine when
she gave a snow gob?
Alleged.
I don't know.
See what she did there? See how she faked out?
Yep.
She thought of that in advance.
I tweeted it out last week or 2 weeks ago. That's my replacement word.
Okay. All right. 17 minutes after the hour, we roll along with Nurse Jackie on the Stephanie Miller Show.
You did, but I should have dinged.
It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Jackie Scheckner, live in studio, mumbling to herself.
No, I was trying to turn off the Do Not Disturb was supposed to be on, and then it dinged. So
dear.
I'm not entirely sure why that happened.
It's your third floor lingerie. Hello. Oh, by the way, here's another pathetic story about me. So a lot of people were commenting on your sexy halter bras.
I got another one.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
It's a lace halter bra. You were wearing a black one, and so because everybody wants to be you, I ordered one on Amazon, but it was some cheap knockoff that wasn't the real thing, and it fit horribly, and I had to give it away.
Yeah, clothing isn't the best thing to buy on Amazon.
No, you got to go to Free People.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're Free People bras. That's what they are. The brand is Free
It was
People.
some cheap knockoff.
No, you got to go to the real
right?
one.
It was like, but it was not Jackie Scheckner.
No,
It was like
and it's
some
not
cheap
just
substitute.
It's not just me. Like, I see people all the time now. Like, they work out in them underneath their tank
Is that
tops.
appropriate?
No, but they do. I like it just as a regular bra, but
It's kind of like me just working out in a jock strap.
I bet a lot of people would.
There's a lot of people who would like to see that.
Oh, please.
No, they wear a t-shirt over it. They don't wear the bra by itself.
By the way, we've been talking about gun issues, and
It's that supportive, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
after Ferguson and this latest, somebody sent it is an interesting graphic. John Crawford, 22, killed by police inside an Ohio Walmart for holding a toy gun he was going to purchase from the store. The white men carrying assault rifles inside a Texas store. Police weren't even called. Bunch of white guys, rifles.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. Yeah. Just saying. Yeah, and this guy, cute guy, yes.
You know, I was strolling through, what is the word? Scrolling.
You're
Thank
not a
you.
troll.
Oh my gosh.
All right, go
You
ahead.
okay?
Coffee. No, I need coffee and love.
Okay.
Aw.
Me too.
That's why you're wearing the short shorts.
I am.
Coffee and love. Jackie Scheckner, 2014. All right, go ahead.
I was scrolling through Twitter the other night, and it was the Uzi, and then a whole bunch of other stories. There was some crew member on the show Cops got killed, and it was it was too much.
Yeah.
And I just put it out there. I was like, I'm just going to say it. We've too many guns.
Yeah.
It's too much. Just let's figure out what's going wrong here. But we just live in a society where there's too many guns.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Let's get to the second part of your thing about leaning love.
Leaning
love. It is the fear of commitment stack.
Ooh.
Okay.
Not that any of us are familiar with this. Man fakes kidnapping so he can party without his girlfriend. British man was fined after he texted his girlfriend that he'd been kidnapped over a debt equivalent to $82. He said he told a lie so he could continue to stay out partying. The man's friend was arrested, suspicion of kidnapping, but then released when his buddy confessed to the bruise.
What do you think that phone call sounded like? He texted or called?
I want to know what the buddy was. Dude, what? Seriously? What the? You told somebody I kidnapped? Okay.
Did he text or call?
It said texted.
Yeah, that's
been
believable.
kidnapped. Be late.
Yeah. What do you think she was like? Get right? Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let me get that $82 right out of my bank account for you, kiddo.
However, it does not beat this guy. Man fakes death to avoid getting married. A man who did not want to go through the wedding tried to get out of it by getting his fiancée to believe that he had killed himself.
Oh.
Whoa. Too bad that one got away from her. That's got to be heartbreaking. She was planning their wedding in the UK when she received a call from the United States where her boyfriend had been staying. Pretending to be his father, he told her that her fiancé had been suffering from depression and had thrown himself in front of a car. Stunned, she called her would-be in-laws, who promptly told her that he was very much alive. And a giant head, apparently.
Yeah, she dodged a bullet on that one.
Yeah. Yes.
No callback, pun intended.
Right.
Yeah, no, I know, but...
Yeah, oh boy.
I know. Wildly inappropriate all around this morning.
Wow, okay. Everything's dark. Hey, happy clappy news. Looky here. Medicare, not such a budget buster anymore. You saw this?
Yeah. I think I may actually have sent that.
You're looking. You might have.
That's supposed to open that curtain to see.
Okay. You're looking at the biggest story involving the federal budget, and a crucial one for the future of the American economy. Every year for the last 6 years in a row, the CBO has reduced the estimate for how much the federal government will need to spend on Medicare in coming years. The latest reduction came in the report from the Budget Office Wednesday morning. This is very good news, right?
Yes.
It is.
Huge,
and one thing to point out is it's not only some of the provisions in the Affordable Care Act that are doing this, but I think also the fact that people are paying more attention to health care costs now. And I think we need to think about health care reform in that capacity, too, is that not only have we made progress with the changes that we made, but bringing the attention to it that we have is forcing people within that medical industrial complex to take a look at how we price things and why the medical system is so expensive. And there's definitely more of a light being shined on it along the way. So it's forcing people to take a look at where we're spending money and how.
The other story we were talking about earlier is that emergency room visits are way down, which, again, was one of the points of the Affordable Care Act, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, the whole point was to get people primary coverage so that they didn't have to go to the emergency room for things that are wildly more expensive when they're in the emergency room and not emergencies.
Right.
So the idea is get clinics, more money to clinics, get more people into primary care, catch things before they get to an emergency level, and that's the impact that the Affordable Care Act is having.
Say it with me. Thank you, President Obama.
Thank you, President Obama.
Okay. Let's go to Dave in Minneapolis. You're on with Jackie. Hey, Dave.
Good morning, all. Say, Jackie, did you do flaming batons?
You know what? I never did fire baton. That's actually a good question. I never got to that. I did do lighted batons, right? Batons where there were
like LED lights.
Yeah, like glow sticks on the end of them.
Okay.
I did 2 batons at once. I did marching parades.
You were gunning for that baton scholarship, weren't you?
I went the whole and then I realized how horribly uncool it was and became a cheerleader. So.
Dave, it was just a thing, when I was in high school. I think everyone in our junior Miss Pageant did baton twirling of some sort. It's a lost art, I think.
Yeah, so, well, the reason I called is, does anyone else think that it's ironic that this horrible thing happened with this little girl shooting accidentally this guy is called the Last Stop Gun Range?
Hi.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. There's I don't know how they're going to try to spin this, but the idea of a little girl like that.
Well, and the amount of mental, mental health care help she's going to need, I would assume, right?
I don't think you ever get over something like that.
No.
I mean, is that child abuse in some regard? I mean, your child.
Think it is.
I mean, right? Your child is now mentally scarred for life.
Yeah.
Well, if you're a mandated reporter and you know a child is in a home where there's abuse of like a father or mother beating the other parent, and you don't report that, you could be liable for that. That is a reportable offense, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it, Jackie? If a child's in a home witnessing violence, that's supposed to be recorded.
Yeah, but I don't know if this would
You're
count.
asking 3 people without children.
Yeah.
Right back.
But I don't know if it counts.
Right back on the Stephanie Miller Show.
This Pilates instructor was off the charts. Picture
Stephanie Miller,
but younger and bigger boobs.
It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Jackie Schechner, journalist, healthcare expert extraordinaire, baton twirler. What's that again? Majorette. Sorry.
Majorette, yeah.
Yes, extraordinaire. It's on Twitter. Check it out.
Check
13-year-old Jackie Schechner.
13. It's the picture I swore would never see the light of day, and yet this morning I felt compelled to share.
All right, so before the break Dave was asking 3 childless losers questions about children, and we didn't know. But Jackie took exception because you were saying that Jennifer Aniston recently was talking about you don't have to have a child to feel fulfilled as a woman.
Yeah, she had. Didn't see the original interview, but I did see the Tamron Hall follow-up blog post to it, and she said the same thing, that she's getting close to 44 and she doesn't have kids and she loves kids, and if she had the opportunity to have them, she will. But it doesn't make you a fulfilled or whole woman to have a child. That you can have a perfectly fulfilling and complete life without having given birth, and that's okay.
I was one of those women that started, I had a dog. For every year I didn't have a child, I got another dog. And so I just decided to become a crazy old dog lady, because why not?
What's the most number of dogs you've had at once?
4.
Really?
Yes. Here's one thing I know, even though I don't have kids, Hello Kitty is not a cat. See? I learned that from you this morning.
Hello Kitty is a girl. What is...
A British girl.
I don't get it.
And it's a Japanese character, but it's apparently a British girl. With
like
whiskers.
a backstory.
With whiskers.
Yeah, and ears, and cat ears. It's very strange.
I'm confused.
It sort of ruins everything I ever thought about Hello Kitty, and my world is shattered.
And Stephanie's like, I have
don't
no
know
idea
what that
you're
is.
talking. Yeah, because you didn't do Hello Kitty when you were a child.
No.
You played softball.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. What?
She's very handy.
Although I'm not up on everything the kids are doing. Here's one thing I do know. Justin Bieber remains, and probably always will be, a little douche nozzle.
Yes.
He feels his minor car accident, which he was able to tweet about afterwards, is similar to the crash that killed Princess Diana.
Oh, Lord.
Wow.
Shortly after the incident, he tweeted, "There should be laws against what I just experienced. We should have learned from the death of Princess Diana. I don't have a problem with paparazzi, but when they act recklessly, they put us all in danger." He was driving his Ferrari in West Hollywood, as you do, when he reportedly noticed a photographer following him in a Prius, so he slammed on his brakes. Then the paparazzi rear-ended him.
He caused the accident.
He's in a Ferrari. He can outrun a Prius.
Right.
I'm pretty sure.
He slammed his brakes on, and the paparazzi rear-ended him. No one was injured. His Ferrari was scratched. So you can see how that's almost exactly the same thing as Princess Diana. Okay.
Can we make him go away for a while?
He wasn't even born when Princess Diana died, was he?
No, but you know what he should do? He should write Princess Diana would have been a believer, the same way he did at the Anne Frank.
Yes, because Anne Frank totally would have been a believer.
He has some greatest hits already.
What is he, like 12 now?
Oh, boy.
I think he's 20.
And you know what makes you the most
things I couldn't
deuce-tastic?
care about.
Yeah.
The most deuce-tastic ever? Getting in a fist fight at Dave and Buster's. The tourist trap, over at
Yeah.
Hollywood and Highland.
Yeah.
First of all, if you're going to a tourist trap, they're going to recognize that you're Justin Bieber. So don't act like you're... Anyway.
Dave and Buster's is basically a Chuck E. Cheese for adults.
Pretty much,
right. Yeah.
He's said to have taken a swipe at a fellow patron filming a cell phone video of him and his girlfriend. Per TMZ, Justin and Selena Gomez were at Dave and Buster's Monday night when a fan started taking cell phone pics. Law enforcement say Justin lunged at the guy in an attempt to take his cell phone away and presumably erase the guy.
You don't go to places like that unless you want to be followed and filmed. And I mean, people who are in the tabloids, not all of them, but a lot of the people who are in the tabloids because they want to be.
Right.
They put themselves in those situations.
They walk along Robertson where the paparazzi hang out.
Yeah, they know the restaurants. They know the locations. They have publicists call in advance. None of this is by accident.
And if you were to pick the one place in Los Angeles with the most number of tourists concentrated in one area,
Dave & Buster's
it would be Dave & Buster's at Hollywood and Highland.
Right.
What's the point?
Absolutely.
It's intentional.
Yeah.
And now you're very liable to be punched by either Justin Bieber or a furry person. What are those furry people who walk?
Don't get me started on those.
They're not cartoon characters. What are they? Oh, they're like superheroes and stuff.
They're superheroes.
Yes.
And
what is this?
They're just. Have you ever been on Hollywood Boulevard?
No.
With all of the.
Not recently.
What were you implying?
Those
were you
days are
implying
long
hoary
over.
things?
No, it's not. It's really not like that anymore. But no, they walk around in these filthy costumes, like dressed like Elmo and Mickey Mouse.
To take pictures with tourists?
They take pictures with tourists and then they demand tips.
Oh, it's like in New York in Times Square.
From the people.
Yeah.
It's.
Listen, we have more important news to get to, and that is, I hate to be the one because there's so much bad news. Everywhere you turn, bad news. I don't want to. You'll remember where you were when I told you that Miley Cyrus has retired from twerking.
Oh. Did her twerking jump the shark? Is it?
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you what happened. It is sad that I know this. She said, "I've retired from twerking." Apparently her decision came after she watched Nicki Minaj twerk at the VMAs.
Okay.
She said, when speaking about how Anaconda, that's Nicki Minaj's song, had beaten Wrecking Ball for most views in 24 hours, Miley said, "With that ass, I ain't got that ass." I can bring that body, I can bring that wrecking ball, but I can't bring that ass, not that anaconda. Oh,
Name Nicki Minaj's song is Anaconda.
Right. We remember that from the anaconda that bit one of her backup dancers.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I have nothing to add to this.
Yeah.
I mean,
What can you really?
it's very little, very infrequently that I'm totally speechless.
Except America.
I have nothing to
right?
add. Yeah.
I didn't watch the VMAs. I only watched a little bit of the Emmys.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. I did watch the Emmys, but not the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a little more grown up.
Yeah.
A little less ass on the Emmys.
Not as much ass. Kathy Bates was not twerking.
No, thank God.
All right, thank God. Sandra in San Jose, you're on with Jackie. Hello, Sandra.
Hey, Steph.
Hello.
I love you guys. I love Thursdays when Jack.
Aw, thank you.
Aw, me
I like
too.
being here.
Really the best.
Thank you.
So
I take credit for Jackie as a carbon-based life form. Thank you. Thank you.
So I wanted to put a different take on the kid shooting the guy at the shooting range, which is obviously an insane tragedy, so sad and horrible. What if, though, change the scenario and it was a black boy, 9 years old, and his parents were African American, and the same thing happened? How would Fox News react? Nancy Grace react? The public as a whole? Would they be condemning the parents for being horrible? I mean, would they be less sympathetic?
I don't know.
What do you think?
That's so interesting because my first instinct was no, it's just a child and it would be the same thing. But then I think about it a little more deeply, and it's like, you know what? They would probably say there was some sort of thug culture. Or teaching your children about weapons early. Like, I can see that.
I got a lot of tweets yesterday from black folks that were saying, please, Fox News, spare us the making it seem like you actually care about the black community when you make these analogies and you really care about black issues or, oh, what about this violence here? I mean, if you were interested in doing anything to help with that.
Yeah.
But it's, it is always just making some sort of point that I think is inherently racist.
Well, you saw the producer who got stopped. Did you see this? The L.A. producer who was feeding the meter and then got handcuffed and taken in because they thought he was a robbery suspect.
He was in town for the Emmys.
Yeah, they thought he was a robbery suspect. And, they say like he was wearing the same clothes as the suspect, whatever. But it's true. It happens everywhere. And I can't say anything that hasn't already been said, but we've got to stop this. I mean, at some point we have to turn around and say, okay, racism still exists. We have to continue to fight the norm, and we can't pretend that it's not out there because it's continuing to happening, whether it's somebody being detained, whether it's somebody getting shot, whether it's making a stereotypical assumption about someone. It's all still there.
Yeah.
And there's no shame in saying that racism still exists. Let's do something about it.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, we always get these what about us, we call them, these callers. How come, what about this other guy that did a bad thing one time? How come you, look, to miss what has happened in Ferguson is to miss the entire history of the United States and why there is all this underlying tension that something like this is obviously a story, right?
Yeah, just because something else happens doesn't mean it negates the intensity of the original event. And you can find an example of anything in this world. It's a big, wide world, and there are counterexamples to everything. But we have to take a look at what happened in Ferguson in the context of what happened and say this is a huge problem.
Yeah.
And the way it happened is problematic. The aftermath is problematic. We need answers, and we need to figure out why this community.
Well, and half our what about us, Chris, right? They throw out stories that you may or may not have heard of. Almost without exception, when we Google it, it's somebody that was convicted.
Oh, yeah,
and it's that's missing the point entirely of what happened in Ferguson. Like they'll say, oh, what about the time this white person did blah or black person did this thing?
But the outcome was that somebody was convicted.
Right. And you go, yes, the point of the Trayvon Martin case, and in this case, is there was not an arrest, not an investigation until there was an outcry. So half the time you go, yes, right, that horrible black person did that horrible thing was tried and convicted. That's why that wasn't a big story. Right?
Yeah, I will say the little bit difference with Ferguson is that with the Trayvon Martin case, there wasn't anything until the outcry. With with the Ferguson case and Michael Brown's death, there actually was an outcry immediately, right? So
I think because Trayvon was so fresh in everybody's memory that they weren't going to wait.
They weren't
Absolutely. They weren't going to put up with it again.
And the question is, why hasn't there been anything at this point, and why did it take so long for anyone to react in a civil manner? Why did it get so out of control so quickly? I mean,
Well, and again, it's to misunderstand the whole, as we've said before, the whole history of race in the United States to know why it's offensive to community to leave a black person laying somewhere for 4 hours. Which is what they used to do in lynchings so that other people could see it. It was beyond the fact that there was no investigation, there was no statement from the police, there was they didn't interview witnesses. I mean, so anyway. All right, 45 minutes after the hour, back with the remaining moments with Jackie Schechner on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Jackie Schechner live in studio. Breaking news. Joan Rivers stopped breathing during throat surgery. She's been rushed to the hospital. She was having a throat procedure on her vocal cords, I guess, when complications occurred. So then that's the latest we have.
That's all we have, and story is developing. So
Yeah, we just had her on not too long ago.
Yeah, thoughts go out to her.
Yeah, absolutely.
And her family.
Yeah,
I guess Melissa is rushing to the hospital to be with her.
Yeah, scary stuff.
I mean, I
think when you're 81 at that point, things become a little more challenging, probably.
By the way, when she was on last, we talked about the shoving match we got into at the Emmys.
You did?
Yes.
It was a joke. She's a very good sport.
She was stationed right next to Joan Rivers on the red carpet.
Yeah.
When?
Yeah.
In the 90s.
She's a pro. Okay. She knew I was doing a bit, and so she started doing it back. So I started yelling at her in her voice that she was on my part of the red carpet.
Do we have video of this? This is probably.
Oh my God, the E Network ran it forever as a promo.
Yeah.
But that was.
We need to find that.
You were working for ABC Radio.
That was back
time,
when I was
you?
only in my early 70s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, someone tweeted that you didn't play with Hello Kitty, you played with Hello Mastodon.
That's become the thing. See, is that I'm old and I have just got handy hands.
Right. Hello, dinosaur. Yeah.
Oh, and also I did not mention that. Also, just to complete the patheticness of my life, I have frozen my vagina. Not intentionally. I hiked Mount Baldy Saturday, which a woman of
your advanced age
should not do.
Right.
And I was so sore I couldn't walk literally for days. It was like a 6-hour hike, 10,000 feet elevation. It was horrible.
What?
Anyway. So I sprayed Biofreeze on my quads, the front of my thighs, and
you missed?
Well, yes, it drifted. Something happened.
She was
in the pajamas.
spraying, downwind, and
yes, and I.
So it redefines frigid, is what we're saying.
Right. So it was like a vaginal version of Frozen, the movie. It was a
Let it go.
Right.
Let it go, Sarah.
We're calling her Elsa now.
Right. I said it's like freezing a gym membership until I'm going to use it again. Wasn't using it anyway,
Is there a charge for that?
Did you hear about Stephanie's hoo-ha? What a hoot. Oh, boy.
She's as cold as ice.
Literally.
She used Biofreeze and now her lady been paying the price. I know.
Yeah.
What the? Oh, don't I know? I can't feel my vagina.
Steph, listen to me.
You gotta take my advice. Where is it? Your tchotchke is paying the price. I know. I can't feel it. I've seen this before. It's happened to me many times. Trying for relief, but you leave the world behind. Now your JJ is freezing and you're losing your mind. Hold on for a few days and you'll be just fine.
All right, we get the idea. All right.
How is that possible?
When I first did it, a friend of ours called, and she was the first one I told, and she goes, "Are you trying out material on me?" I'm like, "No, I seriously have just frozen."
Use the cream.
Freeze dry.
Use the stuff that
you need adult supervision. Is what I need.
That's like 9-year-old with an Uzi. There I am.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do
a
these
drunken
things.
adult with a Biofreeze spray. Okay. Hey, speaking of the Emmys, so Donald Trump did not care for them. He's a bit of a sore loser, isn't he?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Was he up for something?
Well, first of all, he was still bitter because I guess Seth Meyers roasted him at the remember the White House correspondence?
Oh, yeah, a while back. Mm-hmm.
Yes. He tweeted, Emmy Award show was terrible last night. Same show's winning over and over again. Amazing Race is a joke. That's because it won, and his show didn't get nominated. Host Seth Meyers bombed.
Really? I thought he was fantastic.
I thought he did great.
Yeah, I thought he did a great job, too.
I did, too.
Oh.
Whatever. Who it is. Okay. In other showbiz, speaking of Emmy winners, The mystery of Tony's fate in The Sopranos. Were you?
I saw that.
I still don't think this is a definitive ending. It's still irritating. So one of the biggest mysteries is, does Tony die at the end of? Because the last scene, they're all sitting right in the diner of the family.
We should say spoiler alert, right? You should warn people, or has it been that long?
Okay, I don't think so. Yeah, right.
It's an audio spoiler alert.
So it's been the Tony is Alive and the Tony's Dead team. So I guess they just somebody just interviewed David Chase, the creator, and he shook his head and said no. He said simply no, he isn't. So she went on to conclude that Tony is not dead. But she doesn't actually say what she asked him. Did she ask him, is Tony dead or is Tony alive?
And so it's still nebulous.
Right. So I don't know. Anyway.
We've concluded nothing.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I guess David Chase's publicist sent out something to the media and said, no, we still have no idea and nobody will ever know.
I was really excited that Breaking Bad won all of the awards that it did. That made me very happy. I think that was such an incredible series, and it was so well done. And the fact that it was honored now that it's over, I just think everybody who won on that show deserved it. It made me very happy.
I was very excited that Fargo won over the worst season of American Horror Story.
I don't watch American Horror Story or Fargo. I probably should start with Fargo.
Fargo was amazing.
Everybody loves that show. I should get into that.
I just so I can get my name drop in, I tweeted, or not tweeted, I texted Allison Janney to say congratulations. I call her a bag of Emmys. And I said, holy bag, the bag is bigger now.
She won for Masters of Sex.
She won
and
two.
For Mom.
She won two?
And for Mom.
Yeah. You know what?
Mom was the taping I went to live. Remember? I ate snacks way too loudly.
And they had to tell you no.
Was it that episode that she won for, or just
thank God.
Taping overall? Yeah, I love Allison. I think she's fantastic. Personally, I adore her. Not a huge fan of that show. I've watched it a couple of times.
I think it's funny and a little subversive. I don't watch it every week.
I don't love it, and I love Anna Faris. Like I'm a big fan of the cast.
From what I could hear through my munching, I thought it was fabulous.
But I think she's terrific, and
she's amazing.
I think Anna Faris is great, and I just wasn't I wasn't in love with the actual show itself. But she's great in everything she does.
She is indeed. By the way, I mentioned this earlier, Jackie, but this must be part of your whole frustration with Obamacare, that this is something that they were for until President Obama was for it, and then came from Bob Dole, Heritage Foundation, blah 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 blah. Bobby Jindal sues Obama administration over Common Core education standards that he once supported. He filed suit on Wednesday. This is a new thing, suing the president, arguing that it has coerced states into adopting Common Core education standards. Common Core is the latest effort by big government disciples to strip away states' rights and put Washington, D.C. in control of everything. While the standards were developed and implemented by states, the Obama administration encouraged their adoption through a competitive grant program called Race to the Top, which gave money to cash-strapped states. Louisiana was among 45 states that passed Common Core into law in 2010, with Jindal then a supporter of the standards. We just had the head of the National Educators Association, and
it's all grandstanding.
Yeah, I mean,
it's all grandstanding. Something came out this week about how some Democrats are choosing to run on the Affordable Care Act, even though it is unpopular in polling, and it reiterates what I say all the time, which is why I call it the Affordable Care Act or Health Care Reform and not Obamacare, because that name in and of itself gives off the impression that we're talking about some big government program, some monstrosity.
And that's the way it was designed for them to make you think.
It was a derogatory statement that was created by Republicans to make it sound like we've got this big government socialist health care program, and that's not at all what it is.
Speaking of monstrosities, if you would like to see Jackie Schachner's leotard when she was a 13-year-old majorette, follow her on Twitter.
Yeah, it's at Jackie Schachner. It's Jackie with an I.
Yep.
You've got to see it.
And both of us tweeted it out, too.
Yes, we certainly
I could use the followers.
All right.
Shameless plug.
Love you, Jackie. See you tomorrow on